Okay. Good day to everyone. How's everybody doing? Today is marriage lesson 13. Yes. And today we're going to Sofo Samuel Okoso, and I are going to be talking about domestic violence. And we just going to go all around. A time mmerɛ ne bɛ permit yɛn no, yɛbɛka deɛ yɛntumi anka no, we will revisit. Hello, Sister Lydia Mens. Ahofedua apomu ete saying, hey, Sister Lydia, me who watch you, but then dear back to back pa. Why are the nyame shroud? So what me are joining. Sofo Samuel Okoso mema wakwaba.
Na mame abomwe.
Yesu adom ene ne nhyira apomu boko na wonso e.
Nyame adom nti bibi aye boko.
Yeda Yehowa ase. Yeda nyame ase nso se ayi wama de pa bi ache yen because enye obi a no wa otimi da sorry ene. Sister Lydia, who's three? Yeah, because another hey, back to back pow. Right there. So for like when I see a domestic violence, to say me feel say abuse or our real no. Sister welcome. It's good to have you. And then the Missy Mumma comment nimbra mumbusa questions. There be a send a mechano, the minim, the software sunim no, yebema response, dear yan shada sure no. We will get back to you guys. Why? Because yan pesi ebema will be a false information. Mima yema obia akwaba. So for say eba abuse to say bebre because abuse no ye womu different kinds of abuse. Sometimes obia ne near wording obia nti ase any emotional intelligence different, but to say abuse. So within our society and community now, normally to say any putting people down, being negative around your partners no and no adults palm. And a majority of the time, a honest shasty name calling, and they say you look fat. From Bema side, it's an either one gain weight. Nina no not yet they can't some. And I mean my abuse programs, a couple of them, even spiritual abuse, because there were a soft moving swa almost omu yusu nyamidin edi dibone or see omo taka nyame said for no omu dibone, but to say when it comes to abuse, with domestic violence, like physical, sexual, emotional, and psychological abuse together, neglect, and a financial abuse. They also have self-neglect, right? Because self-neglect, and to hurt ourselves, right? And what neglecting so itself. I think so na mini aketua be marketua kasa na me catch no topic I beka ho asem no, so that's a good topic because any here say you beka ho asem because ade bi a hard dream ewo our mu and I say within loved ones, couples, na some more kind say see ye can't na see ye can't both sides. My meka one sided because ye money being swa omono they even do things to victimize omo ye victims of abuse because ye wo mabia ne ho kafo mo no on fan in San Canada or abuse no in any form or shape. But wapa abroad na wonim se krom ha say wo bie wa no ka se be ma de ne nsa kanwa be ma ne ho be kire no nti no se wonya adwen boni bi a otimi etwa ntro eka se be ma ne de ne nsa kan no se ne ebe ya ebia edan a omotim anase nneoma a omowo no aban ebeje ama wo ba no anase opese ha bema na otimi twa saa ntro no e de to ne ho kafo so emreku a onye a victim nti no I think say ho no mu nyina ye beko na me pa cho ba bia pese o de sha ase afiri bia no yemfa
yo sabe betia afọ ene ejibo nyina se do di kan ye de ya me ase na otwe nso akwa apro abetu yen
correct
this week any message especially ye Ghana ha de accident bi asisi ni nipa mo wu no edo ti car ba ko activator car ba ko ebo ema transport bus ni eka bu ni ma nti se ne nyina nyame ehwe yen so no de bedu se ya na ya de papa ni aboa ye
most definitely
ye be se ye kan ne se efie tinamu basabasa ye ana se aware mu basabasa ye eno na anadwi ye hwe anka ejomiti mu ko ene se oka se enye fe se obema nko abetena ne mo mebo ne se so boafo a ono ne oba na wabeka ne ho so kan bible ne se Adam hu Hawa no ana Eve no oka se ede be na mahui me dompe mu dompe ankasa nie me hunam hunam nie me dofo ankasa nie o hese ne osi ho na ama aka obufie na ombetena ne ho be ya anigi ho be ya hoto ho be bibia kaadi na nso ena wo mu a me ena wo ena obia timi ko hia obema na obaa bi a oye ne dofo
no correct
eba ne saade a onyintufo bi oga na oto onwa se eba se ye de ne yire ne ne maame esi ho agobeka se odo be wudi aka maame wu
so for that be a punu be free any man as a botonim wow
odo na ko ni mu a na o se odo be wudi aka maame wu ye de odo ne maame si ho a ene ka maame wu
he obi nso so obe peki maame o
ano so ho ano so ho na saadi we nyina no ewo ho e kire se de be ya efie ebedwuntia de wo mu ne se oman ana kuro bia no se mu badu a gise efie individual homes no ewo peace se individual homes no any peace na se individual homes no violence wo ho a sa violence no ebe escalate na ebe ka oman no any community ni nyina
wow
enti ese yense ye nyina ye de ya adwene ba ne ye ka ha efitina mu sakasaka ye ene efitina mu basabasa ye no ama yetumi ahunu se de esitie na ya hwekwan ya betumi afa so eba ye behu ene kwan a ye betumi afa so a ye besi ano kwan
no correct
ye hwe bible mu kakra First Samuel chapter 25 verse 3 ye wi a ye be jampo akọ verse 25 o ye kan twi na ɔse na ɔbɛrima no din de Nabal na ne yere din di Abigail na ɔbaa no wɔ adwempa na ne ho nso ɛfɛ na ɔbɛrima no deɛ ɔyɛ den na ne nneyɛ nyɛ na ɔyɛ Caleb ni ɔbaa no deɛ na ɔwɔ adwempa na ne ho ɛfɛ na ɔbɛrima no deɛ n'adwen nyɛ violence no baby I shall say no ɔbɛrima no deɛ n'adwen nyɛ koraa na ɔyɛ obi nso a ne nneyɛ nso so no yɛmfa nkɔ baabi a yɛde bɛkɔ ɛkyerɛ sɛ bɛrima no ɛyɛ violent sɛde yɛka no Abigail no ɛyɛ obi a na ɔyɛ ɔbaa anka ne ho dwo ne ho ɛfɛ nanso ku a ɔkɔnya no ɛyɛ eku no violent ɔma asomdwe ɛmba fie saa ɔbɛrima yi a yɛka no asɛm yi Nabal yi na ɔwɔ sika paa na ɔwɔ servants a ɔmode ne ndwan ɛkɔ outside ɛkɔdidi na wasan ɛde ɔmo asan aba na there was a time a David na Saul san no dendenden no ɛna ɔkɔtoo ne nkɔɔfoɔ no ɛwɔ srɛ so na David ne nkɔɔfoɔ no boa ɔmo ɛma ɔmo nya aduane di ɛyɛ ɔmo fidi ɔmo mmoa ne ntam na ɔmo kɔ fie ntam ntam kɔɛ no ɛna Abigail bi sɛ ɛnɛ mo aba ntam o na ade na mo so ɛkuhyia papa bi a ɛfɛ David saa time na David nso because of desert ne nti na aduane bi ani hɔ nti obi sɛ bi sɛ ɔmo ho sɛ ɔmo wura no ɛwɔ sika no na ɔka kyerɛ sɛ mo wura no wɔ sika deɛ na mo kɔ a na zere mo ba mo ngye aduane kakra mmerɛ yɛn na yɛntumi ndi na yɛn nso yɛntumi nya ahoɔden bɛde mo ba ha ya boa mo ti David kwa ne nkɔɔfoɔ no ɛbɔ mbɔden sɛ ɔmo bɛkɔ na anaasɛ ɔsoma ne nkɔɔfoɔ no bi ka papa ne nkɔɔfoɔ no sɛ de bɛ sɛ ɔmo kɔ a ɔmo bɛtumi ama ɔmo bi Bible no kyerɛ sɛ bere a ɔmo kɔ na ɔmo ka asɛm kyerɛ papa no ɛka kyerɛ sɛ hwan ne David minim David bia mo amfa mo David na mfiri mane so a aha no so san show another the violence no hɔ
oh wow
the character no e de kyerɛ ɔmo sɛ me de me no menyo sɛ de ayi de break kan me de menyo wo ya me kyerɛ de ɛkɔ wo ya me kyerɛ de ɛba
not just he seems proud of the type of person that he is being a person. I live here though. Welcome, Annie. Wow.
Eti Okoso yes ano. Na amu kwone na David nkofo ne kwona the boys ne ba akwa ka kire maame ne say mama ye Okoso so papa na obo ayen no akasa nko paduane kakra ye ba nso aduane bebre wo ha ye gugu papa ye bo na mane a papa ye ebu afu na me hese de nkofo na monim na mo de kwa na wanhwe ne de beba akire no enye papa nka mo so kwa na mo David amane se papa no ono se o ma ohwe ono se o ma ohwe nti miwura yankwa na yankwa ye de ebeye nti mo si kwan mu no na ne yire no nso efa ne niama aduane ni bi eni nsuo ni bo mo ni kuna ma ne kwa no de si kwan mu na o de koi so we can verse 35 now because your first Samuel chapter 25 verse 30. First Samuel chapter 25 verse 25 no.
Okay. Who can say 3 and 35 and answer 3 and 25? Who can 35 for whom?
But I know from here.
Oh, okay.
3 and 25.
Okay, good.
3 and 25.
The wrong information.
3:25. Into 25 and they say, "Ba Abigail share the occasion say miwura mesrew." Ema wakoma entu onipa huhu na ba yiso. Na ni sɛ ne din tie no, saa na ɔtie. Ɔyɛ ɔbarima a adedwantwie sɛm anaasɛ kwasasɛm ɛna wɔ ne tirim. Ɛyi nti sɛ ne din tie no, saa na ne ho tie. So ni din na eri atore kwa na ama ne nya papa.
My gosh.
Eti ye hwe afitena mu basabasa ya ɛwɔ ma ne mema nyina afa sɛ de ye nua na di kan enye mema nko a Yo mama bebre on so ho a omo so ehunu amane wa wari mu ofi a enya asam ketwa se de yi kan ye mbo no ta be ma no ye mbo no ye ntin no but ohawa ne ye de ha no ofie no adwen oma na adwen no eni na omo ni Yesu Kristo no na omo ye drunkards because okofie a opon adwuma na okofie kura kwa ani kwa ya say okoto hell mu.
Wow.
Eti eye ade kase a se de yedi kan no ha adwen na se ya nhwe na se efie na yetimu no individual houses no asumdwe ama ho na ho na violent definitely oman de began to share oman de began to share to say aya ade kase a ha adwen pa nti kakra me me de be yi anim se domestic violence no na yi kakra ewo mu ni se aye mema ne ema nyina nanso so eba se esori a ede ho kase ba abusua ne efie nyina mu.
No crepa. So for some with that to say sometimes on say yenim say ye wo ma ne emema no mu bi a ebufuo a ewo omuso no omunye ho adwuma no etimi ema no escalate into domestic violence, right? Because obi an ebi wo hono ma wo hye na bufu a bibi obeye bia no wo na we are victim no ono blame say esa say wahwe no certain way ana say wo nya nneoma bi a yese bo ye ana say wagimi wo say wonim de enti kura just say obeka nneoma just to put you down. You everything wo fault instead say taking accountability of their own poor characteristic, because on say most of the time when it comes to domestic violence now, the dynamic of it is that there is always one person who is the primary person with the violence, right? And one of them who always seeking constant power over the other, constant control over the other. And in relationships, in marriages, within family home, obia ya programs I can about say obia ya titi no abusive home they're more likely to grow up and display the same behavior. Whereas in so say a small portion of such people now omunyi no munya ade no omuye omuho adwuma getting going for counseling, taking classes to help themselves, because omuhu say sa feelings ni emotions ni behavior M1 wo kwan bia so mo ye omo ho adwuma no self care or sa small portion obetimi grow up no have it like healthy relationship, because domestic violence is an unhealthy relationship within marriages. And then to say omo ye enablers to say omo abusuafoɔ enamfofoɔ asɔre mmafoɔ asɔre mpanyinfoɔ a wɔn nim sɛ nipa asomasi bɛrima yi a ɔwɔ asɔre yi mu anaasɛ ɔbaa yi a ɔwɔ asɔre yi mu, but mostly the dominant ɛyɛ mmarima most of the time. And man, we do have percentage of women who are abusive verbally, physically, sexually, and all around, right? But to say most of the time, especially your community, when you go to our society community now, and men are more dominant with domestic violence. But to say, we shy boy, be be to meeting in sa a channel yere sotro. Or no for say, or straighten a yere to send ye or ye ne back, and now say when ye nipa, right? minim de nti e ma ne baasa. But abusuafo ni bi ene nipa e mo bɛn no enim se bɛrima na komanye ne kokonye ene wɔbo ne yere. Enso no eba efutuo sem a ọbaa na ọno ya victim no ọno momu na yetu ne fo se wonya abotre ọma bɛrima no emre na in due time no bɛrima no ebesesa etimi ma ọmụ tena enkwala bam still ebro no eda so koso enso da bia ye se nyame beye sofo se eba enuoma bi se ya eye appropriate just say appropriate but asede say sofo panyin mefa nse wo church members na oyire no anaso wo kun no abusive towards ne partner na wo sofo na sede say obey something about it na anaso obetu ne fo say onya ho abotre entena ho saa na nyame mbrem no ebeyeye
yo mame the woman say akwai say utu ajamwa ne akura nyina afo akura na adwen a we ya ne say obekọ ajamwa telephone odu ajamwa telephone nso da mo so be try say ono so be chi no ne woman say yetu ya fa mami American fa asori de anya mfanto ho ansan asori ene mmama ene mma ewo mu no se ye tena efie mu a yes we say Christ nso ba betena ho bi
no correct
Christ ana okaye awo John 14 verse 27 Jesus said asumdwe na bedija mu engese na wiase de ma na mo said ye me Yesu medema nti aware bia titru ye de befa a Christofo mu de the first person I saw mo invite ne ba aware ni mu no any Jesus Christ so Jesus Christ ni ho ho ana abonsam sha ase say odinipa eye adwuma before we be abusive no onipa no ye woni bebre ho a say the wedi kan bo obi so no ekwana adwunu mu na ema oye saa de no na isa say wato ade ama me afa asori de yemu nti no asori de yeni obema ene yeni oba se bema no aya abusive ba ese etena se na ye kire ne say menua ana ya sorry be de wo ye no enye Bible say atwe nyina fi Nyankopon hu miem na eyema nkyerɛkyerɛ ani atenetene ani de keka hu nti saa Bible ko na ye de ka kyerɛ oba ne say nyabotere no nyame bɛyɛ no ɛsɛ ye de saa Bible na so ka ba ma nanim
no correct
ye nka say ɔno na ɔyɛ ba ma nti dabi tradition wo ho de makofo ebre ɛyɛ violent no ba ko ɛyɛ tradition ye tradition ni say oba nkasa
hi asamo na sa tradition no ho na de ebeto ho no ye meme ya right
ye mpani ko na mo shaase no na mo sa tradition ni to ho
God have mercy
if akanko e o baby say you say oba eto tu atri ba madam oba no what to you no I said ko try ba madam adentia because onu na what to me
I see you say no nti ase no esa se be ma na wo to me nti no so oba wo watoto no atri ba madam onu na oye control of that we don't have control of it.
You are so to you grad but say who about go to you say go try about them
enti kasa kwa no in everything na ye ewe ya warem no oba no se wotwe mu tan ya bibia everything no ebegina be ma ne so
sana wo pa kire
emre dida emre edane nti no Sofo
eti tradition no ama ne bebre ama mema na nya tumi yesha atam kakra bi ewo John chapter 8 verse 4 to 5 me tradition remember the question so but me the tradition never be see we so
John 8 verse 1 to 5
verse 4 to 5
oh verse 4 to 5 hey matuma ye
so tradition ade bi ho Bible ni say na Yesu Kristo akwa asori na oye oka nyame asama na obo hu ase de memma bi bebre bi na omo bayi omo de oba bi ba no bayi waye den ahudo no ka che Yesu say oba we de ye koto do so pe so obo adwaman
wow
aha na oba nkwa betumi abo adwaman
bi be maka ho ana say
but ye oba no nkwa na ye de no koyi because tradition is say obema mo adwaman na oba mum e na gbo adwaman
this tradition there
so the tradition e permit mema no e mo mutumi ye de o bebre but e ka e ma ne hye saa na ediri saa na duru ba bi a na ye de awura asori mu so ebi say ebi no asam ne say Paul kakan e kire Timothy say e ma ne de o monye din wa asori dem na sa oba obibi sua a onsuan fi ne kun ho
na ono Paul no krempo no wanware meboa
wanware
no obi a wanware no how was he able to give all this say
Paul no na oyelene no oyelene and two the reason why it here or trust idea no so many things so mostly the other couple be kai kan say e ma bebre e ma ko omanim obibi ho a aya na awama mo so ani betuma ya adwen baako anti na nso Paul ka say and say na tie dia e ma anye din etada bi nso a aya na hu bebre ba wa asole mu no aya na ka koye e ma bi anu so betuma ya another adwen a Paul de ka say e ma anye din
abrochire ha de hu bebre ne ye mema no di konkon sakura sin ma no so o might take you over yes you overtake so for your sister Chris Ross Mensa has a question. She said, are Christians obligated to tradition or not? Please explain, Pastor.
David, tradition is different. We were born into tradition. And I say, yeah, move over Christus soon. Now, I say, you do baby a tradition every year, especially my man near Danano.
Oh, I see. Just a great, not just a selfish interest.
Because I could, there was a time I was many of us I go for a break years in check and say, the tradition is say, and yes, I didn't tell what the tradition ever say, young couple to me, you know. So na this is here. The tradition I need yamia samono enko. You will be a natural, though tradition upon but a natural idea dawa obeying to me answer son. So I didn't be a natural I dawa just obeying to me son. You have to say, ebia you find say incest. I say I am no Valentine to me go say Obama everywhere on one new aba. The same thing I call Christmas. Then at the whole plane and Bibia ni ho. Inter no tradition ho a tradition be ya adwuma. Omo de Christopher so e dey side ne be ya adwuma.
Everybody, even party, everybody, Yankupot, Nasruha, Yamisiba from a say no by because so sometimes no what in Sambia, just say, Obi, I yes, say, when you know when was so you're born again or you Christoni. Na say what some ni Christos or any Christos sumuno, and you may be quite against them now. Then they turn and come and pick the tradition. Like that is BS.
So what would I say? Because my young cat had gravy. Galatians chapter.
Patience and Homophobia. Welcome. Sister Akosia Dako, the Black Beauty. Welcome. Galatians chapter
3.
Verse
3 verse 26 up to 28. But I say, na mu nyinaa na mu gidie no so aye Onyankopɔn ma Kristo Yesu mu. Efiri sɛ, mu mu dodo a wabɔ mo asu akɔ Kristo mu no, mo ahyɛ Kristo. Yudani ana Hilani eni hɔ biom. Akoa ana ɔdehye eni hɔ. Ɔbɛrima ana ɔbaa bi eni hɔ biom. Efiri sɛ, mo nyinaa ɛyɛ baako Kristo mu.
So ebi mo aye na omote nyame semnase because me feel say even church goers there are many of them when I say if assuring mpanyimfo ni bi krampo no the word of God no omu read they don't have understanding of itself. Inti obi a oka nyame asem no nte ase no, how can they productively teach the church members?
So also I want to say Jesus Christ on it asuafo ne nante and he taught them the word. The asuafo ne kono na mo ti asem na se. But here's the case that no bebre na the so-called man of God omaba bebre no ebi no ho they didn't come for salvation but they came say bia amanfo be hu am say almost gina pulpit me no mo preach.
You don't say. I know the Charlie Town for ni mo pa. Omo no mo bebre no.
How the pan ba obesesa Kristo in church no. Thank for they are more preach I think, I perceive, I believe.
Wow. Keep going. God said.
So, he said, like I said, the word of God says, or Jesus said this, David, I perceive, I do this, I do that, or the I am one, or the other one.
God said, to say, actually, I know what the God said, Naba.
So, until Sabana Sana, not how much Yami Asam. Now, and yet, it will continue until say yes to Christ to be fat. Now, sorry, now, now, what's the son if you say a woman? Inti, that no, may example be said. Obia, your fan say, I'm a quite sorry. Now, on this Sofo and a champion. Now, I'm a bomb pie. Now, soon say, ne, so my me and us. Now, no, shall come up with the events of the mercy, then the mercy, and it was often got up you.
Oh, I mean, that is just sick and it's emotional, it's part of emotional and psychological abuse. Like, serious.
It's the way of mommy. Now, this is how they will say in the name of prophecy. What's of mommy? No, what is happening in the name of prophecy? Now, who knows one can watch ya? And I don't know, and as a Ukofia, they better never dream. As a man of God, the better catches, hey, then come son. But as I saw the night want to know, or someone so country.
And when it comes to like abuse, domestic violence, I mean, it seems like at times, I mean, we know that we have it in family homes, right? Outbringing, in churches, relationships and marriages and all around. And like, sometimes we have to figure out who is doing what to whom, right? So you might have married couples who have coerced into doing something to a church member, right, outside their marital home in their church, just for the husband, but normally it's the men who normally give those revolution, and then and for them to sleep with the woman, right? And I say, oh man, you didn't soon be my froda. And I said, happen.
I need a Robert.
Oh, sir, and normally young coupon you trese send a da sasso. Nana sorry ba nini kwada omu marital bed. That is like so low blow. Now oh, a bad young coupon who ni pamoko. Now
so I be a bad your man said a bad side in a bathroom. Would you say, and I don't know, so my men also or that sitting room and as a hall where they were not wedding. Because you could abuse mentally. Oh, well, my emotion the whole night, or down.
No correct stress. Elusun in the mind, like going mad, literally going mad, because I don't know. Like to say, I'm even lost of words to say. Onyaminipa utimi ehwe nyame anim saa bone na just say like you don't even deserve to be in the pulpit because you're not a true leader of
the as a side pay I can no onyame ahia ne pa ntino say nyame ahia ne ntino na onam nyame akwan so but eche na obackslide no saa na na ekoso bebre adinti ana ye said that odiba yi say no ba na saa na in this church no so be ma bia kwaye bone a saa leader obere waka because ono wom so ehun ono wom ti ono wom a oba bia na oba bi edina san ba Sofo obere say na megun gbo a obere na waka bi ndigi ye nya obi a owo adwene pa ani akoma pa ena say ba say obi ne yere asam ba wa sorry a oye Sofo a asam beto nanim a obetena si din adwen asam no ho na de wo hu say ba ma na asam nya da obeka nanim aka say ba mai you don't need to slap your wife or beat your wife or say obeka che ba ma say wo ye ba ma de but obema oye ba ma pa no o abuse ne yere
no cre mu no cre
because we say say ne yere no enya if I say na dwene esesa e wo bibi ho a ebe ha ono akasa
ampa
enti asole no dwumadi a ye wo a ye de ma ye asole no ye mu ntanchia se de tradition no etie no tradition ne de and de emom kwan momutu ebu ma se de eto de bia no maka cha afala se openi kasa oya pani ne obone krampo na ye so ya afala keep quiet but Christosum no e manesa Christosum e manesa sempo e baza bia nya wo yire no kwa na ye beka wani mu a ye kan sam na wie no ye beta ka se oba dikan ye ne wukun otina ase then omuni be man cho hatina ase aka cha ne se sa suba we ni ane a wo ye we no amfata Christo
yes
because se baza or you abusive e wo fia na e bia fia de compound house ana se mantemo ho no kofo mu a Bema no kwanti no ebe say Kristo din, na ebe say asoni din. And this is what the church must prevent. Na MOB enka Kristo din ho asembone. Because Matthew chapter 5 verse 16, I see, or 54 no, I see you are the light of the world. So yeah, the light of the world na. I see mumma mukania no enhyen ewo nipa ni so na wahye moja wo so na nyonyam. So it is say asori no eba say bia obema bi afum anase mpo etoda bi na say bema bi aye writer. Ese esake o mi oni nyina.
No correct.
Ba say de bi ye kan mema asam dia na say mfa say oba na wafum a say ye kan ani wokra mpo na anase bema na why mistake na say ye ne oba na ka say ye wi say ye kata oba o ye di kan wo fie ye ba. Then ye ne bema na tena ase aka chen say de wo unu aba ana nuku bu na enya wo de no. Sana ese wonsu so oba na wonso aware ne no ono si obi ba but then asori ye ntime nkasa
but so for the entina Emma asori mpanyifo say bia bibi sa ekoso wo obi aware fie abuse ekoso wo obi aware fie a omuntimi hold them accountable. Mema no omu abuse omu yerenom no omuntimi hold this mema no accountable because asori bi wo hono ma wusika ne kasa ebia bema no ono oto correction a emu odu oya adoye etinu chese obi entimi entunifo na chese we enablers, right? Double standard.
I didn't make say true people of God no say empo sa ayi ebisi oba hebrew brother David yo hene na owo yerenom 7 na ire 7 na wato omo nyina atwe na ko aba ko owo yere ba ko pe na wakwa fa na yere no asanze na nyam onye no nyam nso a wato ku ni na ka ho ana onyame suma odifo efe na Nathan se kwara ka che David se bonye na waye no mahu mo fancy na mahu odifo de ko no ko obi akokọ ya ko ka che nana hey say ni David bu befuru but all ko ojusu ade bi a in the Bible you find saying the gift of knowledge and wisdom nto ko nana pie nana aba nchen o odifo ena waba nana me hu wa cha na say me say ba nchen ya di gomo kakra so ahu abon to nana asem bi abagrom ha na medwen ho a menti ase no sa asem banya nana sikani bi okrom ha owo yire mo 7 data no mo de moa samunya ho ho de moa enufu ena fidi o ma ho na say enti papa da wotka no onya ho but onya ho no owo nantwie 7 no wa hanfa bi o okofa ho ne ede no owi na wasan kum na kam nana o jiri say oh David bu afu mokofo ba ko ne mra me kuni bi asha nan ano di point nana wow the spirit of wisdom ni aduma nti se obi wo sika kwa na obo asore na na se oya ade na se nya se mpodom na ni na yanka nanim a ese ye hye kwa wankwa na because then because one the image of Christ one na the image of the church itself no so one se ni ba ta ni yantimi antu omfo na omo wanja sa ade na oye na one abeka anyungwa se na abeka asore ni bi
no correct. Chris Cross say there is a difference between a true man of God and just mere ordinary so-called pastor who only thinks and care to fill his belly up at all costs concerning their souls included. Hey, man, the way you talking there, it's like you like piss. Brother Kojo wants to welcome. And yes, sister. Tuntuma Hofedia sister ya atobra or say culture versus faith. our culture always seems to supersede. And no, it was a typo because Wachro I say I had to correct that. The faith. So the kataso muamuaso continues in the church.
You see, what was that? Culture now, a tradition, you know, and I'm with you. Brother David, Moses, any or picking go or don't we a judge, you know, or catch on say, man, G. Adam with the bribe. That's how we will be free at him. Yes, every leader must be neutral, no matter your relationship with any other person in the church. You have to be neutral.
No, correct.
Why you neutral? That's a way of partial. Time no.
No, correct. No, I fake.
Yes. So every it will go out of the church. But those people who are neutral, but always know because of because of their belly. And then this one, the domestic violence will continue, and it will go in church because young are neutral, but rather they are partial.
So for that, bring me to this next question. Do you think yes, Mamin come bro because tree no me do you think say say Mamin can the right thing say or I saw ya Sofo nom and can ya worry mun samumayan na say oba any bema motima worry fee na say bema ni abusive and I saw oba ni abusive and I said there is domestic violence going on within the home now. Say Sofo and a betu nanim no di asem na and I say so mu get counseling from outside a church place.
I never want to say what was that our Nyamina say?
No, correct.
I think you know your call Bible school kakray. At least I want to say good marriage and then the bad marriage.
No, correct.
Until before you be ordaining obi as pastor no. I had a channel be about marriage kakra. At least onim. And obi so ho be worry acha kakra. Asofo no bebre ho I na omo worry. Say the way say ya and bebre enkunti omo even in their service to God and mankind, you know. Until I am sister almost worrying one day. How many experience kakra I was worrying. So, Nina can win. And I answer you who said, Time for a spiritual leaders. Be a can't sama, ya can't some trauma, when you perform so. Am I come out to you because a sophobia you are supposed to be inspirational.
No, but Katasumo was so Dawson, as inspirational.
And then I say, because of neutrality in humanity. Because the ability man say, if you are going to be kind of anymore, or just sorry.
In fact,
let's say, just for you, let's say, shoe ya, and we have to find about Tammy.
There's always something like
so let him keep him. But the way you find it, you remember na kukudro am work carboni because say Christopher and carbonia if we are see empty bonias. So what Bible now?
For me brain pay sorry ma be brain omo pen no kre no. They
yes you can say when you are dancing and say no kre na ba wi ase but the be do isumu ni sen han no.
That's a big problem though.
And the war suffer no say nyame nkwa na afra wo de a onyame se ka no kre no na nyame na afra wo no bo wadidi o ma commando Because I never knew now come once someone own can be man answer no. So kind of friend share be man say your bad so that. When you bet my bad so be feed you. But also what I say. Oba na o kan answer man no. O tell na Sofo oh na me da se pa say aso come my media and no for ba fi no why di go and Sofo jiwe ye. Nti nyame amfa be man so feed you, oba for oba so feed you.
Look at that, oh, look at that. I mean, to say, I think, say, when it comes to domestic violence, abuse within marital home or any family home, among church members now, there need to be a neutral ground from the leaders and the church members with boundaries set. Because unset to say, sorry bi wo ho no ma se be ma no anasa oba no ekofa ne ho kafo achi a omu you saying, right? But when it comes to abuse and domestic violence now, those things do not happen. And I quite don't understand why.
I na make say when we say me offers bi e ware nansi a na osofo na oba officiate program no oni na ire anya asem nti na ire no ko.
Okay.
And this man is so bitter to the extent say o say oba na ojitu so oba ware na obeto snap am snap na onu so kuta snap na mu nyina mu nhwe ngu for wani adanse say unja ne biom.
I mean that's not even the right thing to do, which means that he's
so bitter. But why so bitter to the extent to say, "Oh, who the uncle?" Wow. I said, "Yeah, kona amoya ade na ko no so fun obeka na nka be ma na kadi na chi ya marriage vows." Akacha be ma na so no nka be ma na nji ka wa na no na asma obeka bia no nka nche na
how? I mean,
so,
look at all
such talk on the aware some command on to menka.
No, I mean his emotional intelligence is kind of like not at the level say people should even go for him for counseling or for him to bless their marriage. I'm sorry, because that's not healthy for someone. Because when people get married now, people who chooses to get married, it's supposed to be their most happiest day. So you can, because of what you have experienced, your past experience, it could connect with your poor characteristic. Because to say, like, will be a maybe or honomon person worries are softening. And yeah, well, a mass of or honoma, a memani be whom person worry suffer a suffer mammy. But to say, or banning moment, to say, pastor patient, so no, a suffer, right? And to pastor patient say, who yes suffer no, or they suffer no. Ukun or no about a stop because as for my no, it's not for you there. Yes, yeah, from as for my maybe more so for my me first time I taste that time no me and I'm say so for my now is he married to his mother or is he married to his partner? Because it doesn't sound right. It's as for no mame. How did that went from Asafo mame to yeyi enefri one the old every place with also for mame? Like
because of the affiliate to the Sofo.
Yeah, but
because one thing I say it's always here as well be different branches that Asofo ne ba omko. Nti yetumi yi obi a ono ye ne say ono de owo ho na ye church mother yetumi yi so obi sa
man say Asafo papa. Oh, patient said my husband is him. Oh. Yeah, because sometimes I wonder me say na say oba no mom na yes Sofo a na ni kun ye be friend is saying because bema ni Sofo and yiri die no ya say no ya si Sofo maame Sofo nsenya ne maame wa hu obi o ne maame na eda. I mean, like so many ways, you know. The yet in the year, and I say sometimes, you know, obi anti ni year or no kokana yi, but say worldwide, you know, where you promo for no majority of them, 95% can't suffer mommy. As woman can't suffer mommy, ain't you know. Yemfa and tun chain. But
na bi abi yamra ayire so se de osi kana no wo se empepi no se de ye ka no ni fa bibiri wo ho a mema ni bibiri wo ho a I know mo de sa I'm the boss of the house no person what call asole nim.
That is so dysfunctional. It's so dysfunctional. It's so for so peja mu kakra ma me read we say na katoa so. Since I have to say it seems some of our churches have relaxed God's moral standards for sure. I was a leader in church and got into a lot of problems for questioning wrongdoing. You see, the pastor did not like that. I soon became the enemy for this reason. There was no liberty, so I left. Our people lack the capacity to embrace the truth. Bam, bam, bam. I mean, that is really sad.
So I didn't pay. I didn't say the credibility of the church, you know, down.
No, correct.
The credibility of the church, because in the first church, you know, now Bible some kind of we need about 3,000 souls a day. Because now nyina ehun say bibia bibia no omo kan pepepe ama two sides ni nyina no obia gitum say asema ye de wa ye de yensisime.
No correct. And then being held accountable for their actions.
That's all. And said you know see can say ya bo sign ene yiri nyina no na ye adwuma anya say ya bo ansan kwa na ye be ya de mi wo hu say the church is there for so obenya morally no obey sound.
No correct.
And the church in that time, you know, na amu cantonancy any idea be a basa say suban bia na obi ade aba so say we bu ne yire we di ne yire atam we bu ne yire anima ase we ye ne yire and I say we bu ne kun anima ase na so na hweda bi they will call you to order.
Because there's an order.
And say I'm found one okase na oketwa I won't call you into order and don't call you into order. Ebe ya hwe so so akoforo na mo say eh da kwa no kwa ya ye dey say you
Na
me hwe me near yi
but because ya funti no say ne Christopher wokoka on person obelusu na sorry eba we ne nsam
oyibu asole no
enti no say the say yo na ayi chese enyoma na ekoso saa yemfa mra yaware fie Sofo say ye mema ni bi ebufu eni ye ma ni bi ebufu say earlier me can say when it comes to domestic violence now, first of all no we have to figure out who is doing what to whom, right? And when violence escalates now in relationship, marriages, family home now, domestic violence existence, you know, the violence is not equal because obema ebetimi abo oba bi wo hono ma se bema de nsaka na woni obema ne beti adwuna ba oba hoodin ne bema hoodin enye the same thing. It's totally different, right? And you know, even into so obani fight back at some point, you know, the man will empower her in some way. Even so obanu ne instigate you, it don't matter. The violence will never be equal. I mean, to say USA has say I want American for law officers for no about domestic violence, any type of abuse reported to the police now, omundi ho agro. And ye bema no ye den wutwi mu time. So ba ne press charges a wo bedem. They says ebi oba no bema na timi bema ni controlling no and or manipulating no, he's very charming. They will get the woman, the victim, to drop the charges. Bebre ye de bia, and a bebre mu bi nsu de bia. Getting a protection order no. Sometimes no enye adwuma. At times no enye adwuma depending to say kura was because US have 50 different states. A state biya won new rules and regulations. But states no, they don't tolerate with domestic violence, any type, any form of abuse, abusing children, neglect, abusing your wives, your female partner. And your man to say in US, the man the momo horn sembebre and rat near a din komo mpamun komodie with Dr. Say was Sankofa a braba a make comment to be which in the past in nipa bebre so I make comments and most of us are aware of it. Say uba America kromu ha say ye mema no mo krama kura di manimu kan emwa kura di manimu kan mo de mo ye kan a mo na mo feel last ho no mo kura ba so but to say me kind earlier no my younger brother catch me say can we say no nyina so no ne ye address some issues and so are coming up because we have some women who are being beaten senselessly, who are being abused to the brick. They're not able to get help in the beginning because almost they are fearful of Bearman because also says or report to now Bearman get in trouble no back out. Sometimes the system is broken in some ways, right? Because we will be the next day not nebushia phobia bebel out, which is the enablers. Double standards for omunim sending pani violence and so back of bailing out. After the other TSC we kun ne hoka for and I say we prano, in so many things. But to say when it comes to these instances now, sometimes there are so many issues happening, but were many binumuna omo endi no correct. Nikun anasa ne ho kafo emfa ne ho en omo no onfa ne nsan Canada. Ba wotimi kwa court say awarija ye ba wotimi kwa court eko swear in the Bible and lie and say bema nikun no abo no nikun ne de ne nsa aka no ema yetimi strip bema no of everything without proof no strip bema no of everything. I have a family member who went through this. One fan in Sanka Obano, but Obano call court no, Obano ne kofa ni kunwechi. No kofa ni kunwechi no twice. Beman in Fitianse, Beman in the channel. Second time, when ni Beman woye, a treya or woo we no still no that so. E fan a Beman and a Beman is a palm no try no ma try as I say no minti na ho biem. Inti awarijaya na chese ye Okoso. Esan se oba no full say why bema no kwado to chese bema ne pena to the point to say what they are the first time to the second time or the better no ntino bema no e filing for divorce no mo court na judge ni busa oba no de ama awarija ye ne ba na obeka no kure say okofa ni kunwachi. Now this is not the first time no or say she's fearful of her husband because he had continuously abused her. She lied. So enti se ye emana omuni no kre no ni kun mu no was ni kun abo no. It's like you undermining a ma they being abused. They living in a domestic violence home because sometimes no say wenum nyina sisi a ubehu edru justice system na ebedru baby no or baby koka asam krampo na she's a victim. Now she's going to be victimized again because now someone can say bi mu endi no krenti no. Now afi na mo ko invest. Just say sometimes no ye mu bi ye nyoma bi a ye nwi the consequence because they haven't gone through that. But for someone to lie about being abused where it is untrue, Sofo said, we encounter a person like that now. How do you justify between the two? Oba ni kun Bruno, any oba ni kun Bruno, ba wano se ni kun Bruno, emrekwa enye sa na esi, ene de ye Bruno na wo suro kra sa wo be back out or be get the help that she needs to heal fully and to remove herself from such situation before ansana yebekunu nkwasi ekun every wiase.
Yo, I never pay when you say anka say evidence out of my and I say maybe you say court dealing with evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with evidence. Until before anka obabi edini ku asem beba na ke be say ebedi ama no. The court no must investigate the whole thing and sign a fee or the verdict aba.
No correct.
But the day I met her, we have to say, Bible can say, na atro for the year I didn't change coin. And the minimum said, the end of Crabia, so could do never a baby.
Oh, stuff. We just said we are magic. We are magic. This is like a case closer to me. And since I have to break cancer, we'll make 2 points in here. I will continue with that.
Well, and in Pepe, you know, a BC Ghana ha. Me example kakra and sanafi Marco. Ghana ha, near Obi or Bobo Pan. While one lady, I'm on first born no LVSS, Cram or Co University, 18 years. On our trade. Dako, then a CEO, about some planning in Yoma. Hey!
My.
That's how catch them. Okay, I'm going to DNA test. I'm going to DNA, so I'm packed. What I tell you now,
my gosh.
So, a name of Famu and near market say, I feel you can obey the sense key. Say, a Japadi or Yerukano, or lose need you. No, what to say. As someone said, yeah, you do more and ye. God, first one, why rob this man for almost 18 or 19 years?
Of
Why man after Kubima?
3 children.
We are so no. Oh, Sabe, did I come? Call
the nerves. It be more nerves, so.
So I always say, and now a baby, I take a court, you can say jailing.
Of course.
For robbing somebody for 18 years. And what I can ask once again, look at the trauma of Okum.
Correct. The emotional and psychological trauma. That too is the most dangerous. It kills. Serious.
I never break home because I do say man say on the number for being a the manager. Oh, look at me, my show me baby you. My serious. Now after all of a sudden, you say Quran in your bar. Now people will make fun of him.
Of course. That's how
Someone make fun of him. You may understand and you be
and we shoot 2 empty bullets.
So
Wow.
Inti, dear me when say one. Anybody be a wo wiase bia etro o ma tro di wani mu kan bia no se court ye nipa na wo no se nipa na nka ma wo dem be so a onyame be fa ne bo
Most certainly.
onyame fa ne bo so obeto abo because sa nyame wa tutu bo ni da
No
tutu bo ni bi o abra na Israel for kontokwa ade chen na mo na akanfo na mo Israel for be ko tutu bo ko won so
no.
If people on saying apart from nipa mra ya hye no nyame wo mra ya universal law a e wo ho ani de o dum de ni feel o de opa ko hye jeje endima the dem be ba nyame mra ne de e be so wu enti the woman say ma be bre de so mo adwem say me de se me ni ku nya se me na kokko to e be gine ma me
oh any America Chrome has said there and what happened especially ye movie na ye free Ghana aba obi man so no ya trane there all the way
me partner bi adwuma na the ire no oba ba wa ire oba ne gije na no mo court akwasinsan ye interview ba bi no na o so o ja ba ma no ba ma ne se o be ja me a say court ne ko ye ko ja court nti na oba ne di kan fa say court register no o the register kan say the oba ma ja oba ma no sum no o so be sum hukun no say oba ma ja oba awani am oba ma no nti say won so oba na o ja ba ma ne dia and also say won so ye twa sika bi ma na so pata ba ma no ana ma oba ni jaye one continue bi
hi man. Wow, Sofo, Pastor Patience say I love the teaching of Pastor Pa. Thank you, so. Now, thank you, Pastor Patience. Sister Yato Bra said fear versus ending up dead. Me bana kofa phone what in the phone about to has me. Mommy, me say, omo phone on so cry me nim senye. Mommy, baby girl. Can you turn the volume down because it's disrupting my program, please? Just turn the volume down, okay? Your phone volume, turn it down because it keeps going ting, 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 ting. It's distracting. Please, thank you. All right. It was already turned down. The volume. No, turn it down, not up. No, I did turn it down. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry, guys. Okay, so sister, I said fear versus ending up dead. To say when we have victims of domestic violence, right? You know, some of them the traumatic event, you know, they are traumatized in so many ways. They are broken in so many ways, emotionally, psychologically, physically, like in every being. They don't have their own voice. Even when some family members are trying to help them now, they will start like covering for their for the abusers, because they feel that sometimes some abusers are so charming and so manipulative. They brainwash them to make them think, say, they are the people, they are the one person who cares for them, and none of the family members and friends cares for them, whereas some of them will get them isolated. They will isolate them from their loved ones, and for the abuser, you know, to have control of everything this person does, you know, which falls into financial abuse. They in control of their money usage. clothing that they have to put on, the type of people that they can talk to, even when they go to work in their workplace they also want to control their workplace. We have some abusers who do not have any day job. Their day job is to go away at the parking lot of their victim's workplace. So if they see another guy talking to them, it's a problem. I mean, like, they're like prisoners of their home, prisoners within themselves. So, like, when there are different types of levels of victims, because some of them, they are so fearful of their life, even going for help. And when someone is trying to help them now, they find themselves going home and telling their abusers that so and so tried to talk to me. They will get beating. They will get beatings from coming to even report themselves, right? But it's like they have been reprogrammed to do that because of the being traumatized. And some of them, unfortunately, it turns fatal. Some of them end up dying, premature death, because they were not able to get the help that they need. And then we have some of them, their family members will be able to try to get them help, but they end up not taking the help. They will refuse the help and instead lean on the abuser, and that will continue, and they will end up, because of them being charming, manipulative, and have made their world just his world, and we know, like, abusers, they are coward, they are weak, and that is sad. We do have people who die based on that. And then
another thing is here. If you do so hard, if we have blood covenant, I'm a Muslim, but first one, it be a blood covenant. Although I am there to the sense that when they were getting married, and I said immediately, I'm worried. No, we say the bear, we don't have a door pines, yenye blood covenant.
Wow, seriously?
It's hard blood covenant in our pair. Now, or the whom you show me say, "Edu jamia, who
oh my
and
God!"
Because sometimes, doing the covenant, almost me can some. Says covenant here, the yacha say, the behind me, so even grand obit make say, you crambo na, you better sound for it. Ain't sad in the bar, that's what one I dream, of course, I had the end. The woman said, and then over if you say, but there are so many, and your man that what it is, and when I go for real, just say, we will MBA one thing here. Will be a while. Covenant, you are more common. So we are share any one. And it'll be so hard. How I was a package new one and a and it's another problem, man. Ebia, I'll share the number for Mukun, or you may say, and as we share or you may say, 80, the best of the corner, I shouldn't smoke or you say, or catch the number from because, well, you're not the same person, and I was correct, who you say, and now you say, after the banner saying, internet, I said, the American, now go away, because you share, now come and that's why you want something, the Hana, so they be available by me, cancer, send you basically a package or partner, no. You see another thing. Why had you able to be a bit more true?
Wow. And as someone can not just say goes into victim playing, whereas to others, or copy certain strategies, just to go in.
Fear versus ending up in dead, and then I'm just making your kind of make a cat was. So we are covenant now. Oslo say the break covenant here. Then
they end up dying because me bromo no or bono e bobonia obetimi ekuno at once.
So, e bi no so how to me share e bi kwa na the other side the family no e bi no omo osika. Enti okay, my men sika but ye bo me so tro kwa na me sika kwa na mepe. So that is
Wow. Because me read you will Google the best friend, the National Domestic Violence Hotline, right? And they gave abuse, defining abuse, and they say what is domestic violence? Domestic violence, they said, is also called intimate partner violence, which is IPV, right? Domestic abuse or relationship abuse. It's a pattern of behavior, right, within the marital home with victims of, with an abuser. And when I read that, I was like, what? Intimate partner violence? Like, and it makes sense because we do have some victims, traumatized victims who literally covers for their abusers. Even when you're trying to help or not, they are so fearful. Sister, they don't know how to get help. It has become their norm. And even when a family member reported now, then the victim automatically will isolate themselves from the family because they see the family members who are doing the right thing. Who are not enabling such bad, poor characteristics, they see them as the ones doing wrong, right? Because they have reported the incident. And then when police does show up, they refuse to press charges. And then once you are beaten to death or you are stabbed or shot to death, family members are the ones who is going to be really affected by it, because when it comes to your abusers, they're not even going to have any remorse. They're going to put everything back on you, that you die because you created it. You caused your death, right? I mean, I'm sure you heard the pastor in Orlando, Florida, who murdered his cold-blooded murder his ex-wife at her job place a couple minutes before her job place opened up, right? And it is so disturbing as to how he went about. Prior to that, he did threaten and talking about if he does not kill her, then he's fake, and he literally went through it. That is
I need to also about response. You better like I said, Obama can home because now only about my insist to say my reporting in my police. So I had a this package. How was your package? Because initially, I think saying Obama, how was your package in Ukuno? It's not again who say about police watching.
And yes, so I can a couple times. He has
because I idea I don't say. Hey, one was say, oh, you're Obama to her. No, because if I don't kill you, I'm fake. Now better now. Because I believe that this woman already or educated.
Oh, she's very educated. Yeah, she was educated.
And the person will ask. To be uneducated, the person will ask. But this woman with all her knowledgeable and whatever, now so my many say was daddy. So
when you are victimized, right? And according to some of the information being put out there, and we know that some of them may not fully truthful, because lies spread faster than the truth. They say it's a habit of this pastor, so-called pastor, threatened to take her life, right? But like sometimes I just feel said that day in the video he said something extra that if he does not kill her, then he's fake, right? But because he has said it so many times, the ex, the late wife, may have not paid attention to that particular, point that he made. But all the same, like in America here, even during the holidays, the police office does not close. You can, it's open 24/7. So you can't say it's a holiday, so we can wait till the next day after the holiday. No, because you don't know what's going to happen. So it was a tragic it's a tragic incident. And this is not the first time we have heard a man taking their exes or their partner's life. We have had a lot of that. Men beat women in such manners, killing their partners because some of them are envious. And then there are some instances of stories whereas the pastor has expressed that he's envious of his wife because his wife has established, well, she works, you don't work, you only rely on your church services. And like if you are a pastor and you only pastor and you're not working, and
I never can say onipa bi a wote ho a wo ba envy especially your partner no. So onipa no one way or the other no wo mental problem.
Bam.
Oh, sister, I Paul can send be efficiency was say onyankopon ema yen saa aduma kyere say yen fa mpija afoforo. And say me maware na say me ne meyire entawo ye fan a na say me madwuma nkoso kwa na say me encourage me gire ema oni na adwuma koso a me I know say wo na be firim beba no me so me di bi.
No crack, because that's how it should be.
So why should I envy her? Say, ono akonanim. Asese me piano ebia na ono so ebedu ba bi no ono so ba bi so sa na sia dia ma men so menga na me so me kun so amra so kakra. Sa na life there. But so ka say wanya no hunti no ubeku ni dia na edina in a video no na no kun na contact ka say you are fake pastor. Na I side with that akonta. Because as obia no ye pastor nyame sunsun won so a why the Bible has tell you say do not kill,
and then you go and kill,
so
and then you blame the devil.
So when expose who you are, this one about who you are.
Bam.
If you say that we can a man be bro I want my member so I'm also abuse member in one way. A man be abuse member one na ye can say me Megiri, my becho. Only by my fro. I better say either in the same marital home or different whatever. And that's about you.
Yeah.
Second, what's higher? This time means medium because me knew the better ever between my miss May. In 7 months will be able to find a baby. Nothing. What's now? What was some court? No call to general chia. Bema no says Bema bi o yesa bia no wa hwa aware no no gun bi.
No cre na Sofo here to say asem ya making about family member no. Just say na your sister when di no cre utwa ntra at some point eduru baby na afide ye put 2 questions to you na we refi ne wo kan last week because e san senya no cre enti because sister Ayato Braka said this is horrible, telling lies about your spouse in court of law always comes around. Sister that's exactly what happens, because the first judge na odi asem no, I don't know if this judge was in an abusive relationship. Because sometimes, you have some people who will be traumatized with incidents that they have experienced, right? I'm not sure if she was in an abusive or domestic violence relationship, but this judge, who was a female, was always against my family member, who is a male, right? Everything that the ex-wife, the time the wife was saying, this woman, she would not even allow my family member, and the family member's lawyer was, I don't know what he was doing. I think he was just charging his fee. He wasn't doing anything for my family member. And this girl, she just kept lying and lying and lying, and the judge was enabling her lies, and then when it comes to my family member and her lawyer, his lawyer saying something, the lawyer will be like, okay, I made my final decision this. So everything was going against my family member. And then, they petitioned to change the judge because the judge seems biased. And when they were able to succeed in getting a new lawyer, a new judge, and also my family member got a new lawyer, and she was amazing. She did her research, and with the new appointed judge, the family member's lawyer was able to make her case. Whereas I said, they requested for the ex-wife to present date and time that the supposedly domestic violence took place. And there were some days that she provided that the family member was not even in New York. You see, and then you in a court of law, so this is the evidence you presenting. So at some point, they have put the family member. There was crisscross. What was like, they put, like, when you have a case of domestic violence put against you, now they give you this contempt of some type of law. I forgot what it was. So and then when they had a child together, so when he goes pick up the daughter, now there needs to be a third person there. He can't go and pick his daughter up without a third person there. So he started recording conversations, and it was given to him by court. Like when they can't find someone to go with him, and he has to record the conversation. So if she comes and say that this is what happened, and they play the audio, then they will know where the truth lies. So at some point, they threw that case away because it was not the truth. She lied about being abused, all because that this man that she put him through emotional and psychological stress. You cheated once, he forgive you. After you guys have a child together, you go back and started doing the same thing, and he's telling you, listen, I cannot be married to you no more because you don't respect yourself. You're not a married type, because it seems like one person is not enough for you, because you can be with me and allow another man to also be with you. It's either you in the marriage all the way or you are not. And because she was so bitter in so many ways, he wanted to put this guy in trouble, in the court of law. And you can't do that. And what is really like messed up is that the first appointed judge enable her lies, her behavior. And then, like, it's like you have some women being abused in all forms, and then they go to court and they're going to be investigated, because of you have people like her, lying in court, right? So, you have victims being victimized because we do have some women who are liars, and they use domestic violence. It's not happening to them, and they lie because they want to get their baby's father, or the man that no longer wants to be with them, divorce them, get them in trouble. Why do you do that? Why do some people do that? So that is really bad because domestic violence is not a joke. It's real. And some people should not lie about it. If it happens to you, it happens to you. What are some of the ways we can get help? But this woman, and I was dumbfounded because I never even thought of her. And when she was introduced to the family, I personally liked her. And I had no idea she was like, oh my God, she got major issue psychologically and emotional issues that was not showing from outside. It was within. Hey, brother Natty Dazzy, I miss you. Mr. Lee Patterson. How are you? Mr. Lee Patterson says, sister love. Situations and circumstances like this happens because most women think that marriage is their final show. They will have nowhere to go. Oh my gosh, that is so sad. It really is, because I mean, like, we talk about we're not gonna have, like, marriage is not going to bring us to heaven, because one of us may enter the kingdom, the other one may not. So I don't know why, like, some women, getting married is a big deal, for the family, for people around them, for the whole world to know, say, oh Lord, I am married finally. Like, I am so happy. Whereas you have your man pounding you like, pounding fufu, and then you cover for them. Why are you like, I just don't know. But the thing is, we all are valuable, and also our family, well, most family loves their loved ones, family who do not take no nonsense and no foolishness. Like, they will not enable domestic violence or any type of abuse. I remember when you are contact, and now we were prior to getting married, when I introduced him to the family, my father spoke of abuse. When we were getting married, my father spoke of abuse. My father let him know the one thing that he would not tolerate with is for him, like, for my husband to raise his hands on me. That's why in the beginning of our marriage, when I had my anger issues, I used to provoke him. I wanted him to put my hands on me because it was in the back of my head that if he put his hands on me now, my family will be fine with me divorcing him and leaving. But he never went to that level. I mean, I know that was bad, but at the time, no, I didn't understand marriage. We both have to make an effort and work at it. I mean, thank God for that he never did raise his hand on me. Mr. Lee Patterson says there are the times scriptures men think they reign supreme over even better women. Sofo, this one dear, would I bet me I can't you.
Oh, say it na. Oh, say, said yes, I come from the onset of the program up to this time. You know, what? Men am here, boss. Now, what about cry? The where you were here? So, and then we blow her. Omo nji ndi say onipa na waware no eye ne pa ono na oboa na ma ne nipadua no esipi ono na oma ne tumi dwen ono na oma ne tumi da brabo tie and from who no matter who you are so wo sika say den na say want me anya right partner na nka ho a wontumi ndwi because say last na ye kan no e tell you kan na edu ba bi a obetuma ye mistake bi o ba bi outside bi obetuma kwakogu hu anim ase a this a right partner no Charles how there you didn't do well now also what we ato nti eyade a say na abuse na ye kan no bebre first so we no ho afono me another we eda ho eye culture otumi bu oba you can go free so and na am dey do oba I'm take advantage of Sanya Manema no mudi year. Now say ye can answer imagine be ho a almost abuse mama bebre e wo free.
No cre Sofo ye ni musa say ye ma ni binom no. I mean we do manipulate situations and
now I never say gender equality bill no omo passing yen and I say omo ye no. Me who say normally it favors women than the men.
America
someone's better for Tom because Obakana be a Bema open say Ujina Hokiti now report say or Yirabo and I say now you do from I think and also come on Emma I say domestic violence no Amma a man now because time I am a man a more. Oh, a money advantage more. Like a family member has something okay. And can be I thank you who say, oh, chat run. I think a court to finally be Edma Berman. Now, come with the pattern, said not dream.
The same thing. And it wasn't because they said he was a family member. And the fact that she went and lied, I mean, like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, where is she coming up with this stuff? She even calls me a witch. When I heard that you calls me a witch, I was like, hey, I'm a witch, so I can do stuff. Like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, why is this girl so destined and so determined to, like, degrade our family? Like, I was like, seriously, I'm a witch? How can I be a witch? My Omega Queen. Welcome. I mean, I couldn't believe it that she literally, and from my family member, he was like, we could not even go to court to support him. He always go to court by himself because of the lies that this girl told the court, the first appointed judge, that she's fearful of us. So my brother, like it was like unbelievable. We couldn't go to court to support because of everything that was happening, and she was able to bring support, from her family side and everything. And it was so unfair. It was so unfair, and all based on lies. So thank God that the family member was able to change his lawyer, because the lawyer that he has from the from beginning, no one yeshe or kono kwatena ho no ma no waje ne fee. And then na sika ketwa nso na otua. They charge big money. No nya oba lawyer no. And our lawyer says so muna nearby ye would dear. Se wosi word means metro. Wono say bear mano abuse we want you to present proof. And also and then to say if you are no motino, luckily not surveillance cameras were honum. Ain't and this CBO can say a bema no born no yade or inti bema no ko mu fie ra ho no so kwaji video no ni fie ra ka chen say oh to say like so man no emre edi within a week to 2 weeks after the okwaje ayi di akokota efie ra na se ni refi into oma paper video no how just everything was going against this person. So the lawyer, his lawyer, no suggest ask the court permission if and when he's not able to bring a witness. Now, can he record their conversation? And it was granted to him through the second appointed lawyer. No? And he did that. That saved him because there was one time, I don't know if the ex forgot herself. She was the aggressive person, verbally aggressive, and it was just perfect. Her true character came out with her calling him names and all that. Like it was horrible, but I don't know. I think she forgot herself that he was giving the okay to record their conversation when they exchange the days that they have with their daughter and stuff. And when it was playing in court, she was questioned based on this and that, and with other evidence, prove that the lawyer from my family members was able to provide. Now the questions being asked of her, she could not keep her story straight, because if something happens to you, you should be able to tell the same story. There shouldn't be anything to change. And then with other evidence, later on, they find out that she was the more aggressive than the guy, and the case of domestic violence, abuse was thrown out. But by the time that happened, the family member paid a lot of unnecessary money. It cost him a lot of money. And it was just unbelievable for someone to just do that just because, hey, you cheated. You the one who went and slept with somebody else outside your marital home. So how is that your partner's problem? You did it first time, he forgave. And then you're going to do it second time. And Brother Natty doesn't say he's been abused by women all the time. Brother Natty does he come and confess. ma Omega, your picture is sweet. One love. Thank you so very much. Brother Natty does it. What do you disagree with Sister Ya? Why you disagree with Sister Ya? With which one? What do I say? No, there be you Uba Shebi before first. Then there is a lot of comments. If I'm with you, mommy and Brenna min catch up. Hey, Mr. Lee, you have dropped so much. Hey, Pastor Patience, which me pamucho. Mama min catch up. Why? Let me see. Oh my God. Okay, Mr. Lee said. Mr. Lee said some men need to be in their lane where they are and will be comfortable, but they go on the lane where they will feel so insecure. And insecurity will prompt him to be jealous, like troublesome grandmother in a family. Hey, Mr. Lee. But it's very true, because some men, and maybe one guy, they want to live high, baby all corners, me refi program kwa me course, but my sister no mu be or ye program na I say ni edi nkomo and na I said with sister mama say obadana, and then we were talking in terms of to say be maybe wo Ghana or baby a na time mu school mri mo koye ni lie won pe no wonim say sa oba we say enye wule mu Ba wo ba abrochire na osan akọ ofie no wakoye ne ho guy de sikasem aware oba na ba abroad na oba ne so ba abroad na ne na be si na wojawa wo se wonte ase Mr. Lee can we deal with ma and Kenyan one Pastor Patience says was your family member's ex-wife a Black American? No, she was not Black American, Pastor. Why African pa? African yes, I don't know. African and yes, I don't know, Pastor Patient. Oh, thank you, Crisscross. Aha. As na mean kind of OOP, which is Order of Protection. She court no put to Order of Protection on the family member because of her lies. I'm telling you, Sika Otria Sika was saying no. My gosh, that Sika no make me there a lot of things will feel. Omani says Order of Protection. Man, thank you. Let me be brief. Yeah, I couldn't remember it. Mr. Lee Patterson said a woman of a man's caliber wants a man. This is a junction where he will get his solace and peace of mind. But men will fight to get the quality which is too hot for him to handle. Mr. Lee, true talk. Mr. Lee, Lee said, insecurity makes a man become control freak on his woman. Bam, 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 bam. Any man she speaks to become a boyfriend. That's sick mindset too. Mental illness is real. Don't some men think this nagging makes some women get fed up with them? Which is true. I mean, like that insecurity no kofa was saying on funny size. Okofa ni was saying no na fi ontimi handle na akoye problem for sure. Mr. Lee Patterson went on to say, when this nonsense becomes too much for a woman, she will choose to leave. Then what? Mr. Lee, ask the questions again, because there has been instances that some women, when the man becomes a control freak because of their insecurity and everything, they will pour acid on the woman to deform the woman, because they tell themselves, if I can't have her, nobody else can have her. If they don't do that, they will emotionally, psychologically abuse you, whereas some end up in a psych ward, and then you have some who will be killed. And it is so horrible and tragic, like we have people losing their life, prematurely because another man did not have control of his emotion because of their insecurity, jealousy and so forth. So for them, so can be been a brother Natty, like dear, what kind and or say what I say, or say thank you. And you're boy man and okay, thank you or a lot meaningfully. Mr. Lee Patterson says many a times there is this right partner, but circumstances turns them to be bad. That's true. I mean, like I think that in relationships and marriages, some of us, you can start out right, but sometime down the line, stress itself and changes can turn certain people from being the right partner to like not so fast, but it requires, work. And if you cannot handle the work on your own now, then there needs to be a professional counseling. The person needs to get help and holding each other accountable. I think the lack of accountabilities in relationship and abusive home also enables the abusers to continue to escalate, and then they continue to do the things that they're not supposed to be doing. And some family members they're not supportive, and there are some family members, there are some wives who had isolated their family away from their marriage. So like when you're going through abusive relationship or marriages, there's no one there to provide support for you. The only person that you have is is your abuser, which is not.
Me pa kakaka but the Peter say yo.
Yes.
And I said we can. E tell be a na ye can be about financial problem.
Correct.
So many men ebi o ha men many be ten e be abusive because ebi na brand owo adwuma na odi sika be fie no. Na ye jije ne so. But sika ne san anase na adwuma say a na fi won say sa jije so no ayira. Even in some places where no obi on the yere kwa kwa ye otumi ke first na be ma ne ye adwuma no na oba ne kwa si be ma ne niam afi du e be oba ne mo se me na me ye adwuma ntino wo siniama ye say and otumi ma be ma no a lot of home ayibi enti e ba ne sa na be ma no so o sha no hu say obi a wanya sika pan a e be ono etumi a hwefie na de time ye tutu say dia and e mo so nya aggressive no no so enko so trouble obi o. And this trouble, they lead to domestic violence. Now you can't want some.
No, correct.
You say, now what about also? I said, "By man, I keep to a blue and so." Now, as I know, how indeed. Say the kind of domestic violence there. Say if you were my man, and I say it's a dog so my man, and you're able to miss your mind.
Most definitely. Mr. Lee Patterson also said it's true, but the census show men brutality is bigger than the women. That's true. That I was talking about the violence, the domestic violence, the violence as this is not equal because oba ahonding, any bema ahonding does not even come close. I mean, even if a man, an abuser, be the woman and the woman gets the courage to start fighting back, now there's no way she'll be able to win that battle. She's going to get seriously hurt. And so yes, Mr. Lee, you're definitely right. Mr. Lee says we need to create balance to balance this equation so as to let it work because it's been lingering for too long. Bam, 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 bam. This is something now. I just feel say when it comes to domestic violence now, we need to start speaking about domestic violence a lot. And not only come and speak about it. What are some of the causes? We can go into what are some of the causes. And we Sofo washe sa and normally be normal cause Mr. Lee so abe true be adofo no be normal a team creating jealousy, of course, insecurity, of course, immaturity, of course, like money. Yes, so many things can play into it. Wanted to be in control, becoming a control freak, and like just making someone, belittling someone. There are so many ways. And what are some of the ways that we can go about to balance it? We haven't talked about balancing the equation, or like preventing domestic violence from happening in marital home, family homes, and in places that it should not be happening. What are some of the things that as victims of abuse, and people around, like the enablers, what are some of the things that we can say to them, we can do with them for them to stop enabling this type of behavior? Is unacceptable. It shouldn't be condoned. And then the double standards, the ones who will push you to like go and make a case of this, and then before you know it, those people also turns around and tell you, say, oh, like to say I really dislike people. Suffer. Penny pebiasem. So I look one people no. Nipa almost to say I say almost wofa. I saw me new wofa. Any ekuro for bebre pesa asem weka. Oh, Ghana need ye senke ni kwa so yes sir. What do you mean Ghana? Na Ghana ni onye nipa. Oni emotions. Because ya mema ni binumu etrima ya omude so much say otene nsa ba emetimi te wonsa wo yire eye your equal partner wotimi te wonsa no ahwe na suntan wutimi na wo kura mpo no wo se wo ye bema wo nimdie wo nyansa how say wutimi te unsa de ball ba hitting a woman. You are a coward, weak person for you to even extend your hands to hit a woman. And all the abuses, because of your insecurity. Now then, I won't pick a fight with another bema from outside because when him see a babunakuno, ain't you know, coward in tino. Oba na wo de wo see there be ababo wo mo ma na nkwala na wo bo mo na wo nyansa we hefa wo nyansa tua wo to excuse my French. Mr. Lee Patterson says, do men and women go into courtship as enemies? Never that. Obi one more worry ne ho a oyi on pen ne nipa nasem awari animu no na saa bi nneoma ni nyina hya ase e develop because e bi a when hu nneoma bi wo wo ho ka fo ho ba emma bebre na omukwa awari mu omu twempena because empena ne de ye nyina ya twe bi me I'm not saying to me twempena ansa me twempena ne bi ansa na me ware omukwa empena twe mu be ma ni suban wasi o ware mi wi a na ya ye hu mesesa no hey you think you extra special, you not extra special time a wo mo court no se mo court o se mo date o se mo ye den yo sad time no na yes say we address all the issues. Don't wait till say you get married because me kunke me ntimi change ne da me sha ase mfiti ase say no na me beye say no magwakra na me nim what I was talking about and onu nso ntimi nsesa me mesesa ejina me so and onu nso besesa ejina ne so but say njina so no nso no si yete ye ho ase e wo ya wawe mu de me pene de me onu nso epe de won pene de me pe se man kan kire mi ku a anka mi ku hu se nyoma we yo ya because ni enye first enye akasakasa opensa na e de tenetene so ade a na ekuma no se me ne wo kasa na wo de wonsa be tenetene me so ahwe kura me so wonsa no makoa na bumu ama se ben me a I will grab it and just twist it, which will be abuse but normally no yes sir he is very far away from me but I just did not like the fact to say obi ne wo kasa no ordinance ponte so it's just disrespectful to me. Be steady. You know your body posture is important. You know, don't disrespect me because you feel say me ba. No, I'm not taking that. And also can who be na mabufu na ebe me say che answer na kwen but I did well. Mr. Lee Patterson says, so did the man try to find out the reason for her cheating? Mr. Lee, yes. There was a mediation with the first incident. There was a mediation, you know, a lot of family members was involved, including myself. We talked about it. Some decision was made. You know, the first time, the family member was like, you know, maybe I should get a divorce. You know, we let him know that's his decision because at the end of the day, you know, he's the one who had to deal with that. But then, you know, he was able, can you imagine a Ghanaian man forgiving his wife of infidelity? That is huge. And I was really impressed that, you know, maybe she was going through some emotional situation or like stress or whatsoever. There could be a number of things that play part in it. And, you know, he forgave her because he loved her that much, you know, and then, you know, through that, they got pregnant, you know, he did DNA tests, of course, and it was his baby. So everything seems to be back on track. And then after she had the baby, she went back again with the same person. And, you know, the person was within their circle of friends. That is so disrespectful. It's like you sleeping with somebody's wife and you hanging with the people, drinking with the like. Hi. Some people have like they have a stone of heart. How do you do that? So like she has issues. She have issues, and some. And when so she's not certified with one person. One person cannot certify her. She cannot be committed with one person. So it was a lot of things happening, but her lies, it did catch up with her. And God was so good because everything happened in the beginning. Everything was going against the family member. And I remember feeling helpless because I couldn't do anything. And I remember one time I said to myself, me catch them, me catch them who said, Senka Ghana pan ye one kage said yen come bono no come bono rough. Say fear wait me up na. So the other one kana who confer case ama who and say who family member you're going to make in the case more difficult. So I had to like restrain my emotions because like everything that was I was like, that's a lie. And then she's calling me a witch. Mimi a bay funk. Nanka me a bay for crank me in the moon. I didn't say no. But it's like I felt I got to the point one time I called Chris Cross and I was like, Chris, like this girl will fear and Cassania Bruno no because they said or Fremi D nominate home but Mr. Lee said, if so, what did he do in terms of that? If cheating becomes the game, the woman doesn't love him, period. Mr. Lee, that's exactly what the conclusion was. We find out that she basically was with him because, he was stable. He has a good heart and, he loves her more than she loves him. And, that was the main thing. So you are right on point, Mr. Lee. There's a lot. We need to speak the truth because it is only one backup. No correct. No credit there, see a car, Mr. Lee. No credit backup, but you baby, Pastor Patience. So I say, I feel so bad for the men who have lost their job during the COVID. I know, right? Some are being abused and receiving bad treatment from their wives and vice versa. Yeah, some more. Sofo. Sometimes you maybe because as some Pastor Patience can to say COVID-19, me mani bebre juma say a man is to be.
Everybody can kind. Everybody can say, but na fi na adwuma sɛ na ɔbaa ne na ɛkɔba ha na atwetwe wo no ebi ɔkɔ na nkwalaa wɔ hɔ a otumi de ani bɛri kɔgu nkwalaa no so sɛ mo papa ani ha ni na ɔbɛtumi ama sɛ names calling ya edu ebi na papa na ɔhwɛ na sɛ ɔbɛ ɔntumi wie mu a na ɔno nso asate yɛ violence
no correct
nti ɛyɛ ehu
and also so no Sofo to someone say a member ni bi wɔ hɔ nom a ɔmo yɛ adwuma they not responsible, they not saving money, they not investing their money. Ɔmo de yɛ the ɔmo pɛ sɛ ɔmo de yɛ ɛna to say sometimes so no within their marital home no on say member bi wɔ hɔ ɔmo making more money not say to say I say ɔno na yɛ head of the house no. The way crown in the Rebecca said, hey, mister, where are you going? The way the way on your Rebecca Sano, he's abusive, verbally. Ain't you notice me fans where Juma said not so bad in a Juma. Say no so no baby feel it some
power.
They say no me power but first and now say lack of understanding being able to use our emotional intelligence because when you're making a lot of money now, don't look down at your partner because your partner is your equal partner, right? This is a courtship. So we support each other, good times and bad times. But because of how some men and some women talk to their partner, no, it's really sad and it's very bad. So that can also play part in them being mistreated, when they don't no longer have a job. And then to say US, it has say, I mean, I can speak of New York because New York no matter forever. But to say mejuma minya accident a mejuma say yeah, na me shase je unemployment na meji no. Sofo, it wasn't even close. It wasn't even close to half of the money that I was receiving on a monthly basis. It was like so it did not do nothing for me. It wasn't helping. Like minya accident, up to November last year, minya adwuma no for almost 2 years now. Me tena fie me resume. Thank God to my Nigerian friend who got me this job. Minya adwuma no na ma crack it up debt 25 grand, $25,000. Na da manim within 2 years, hey, because now me pay me bills with credit card, like and some bills, you can pay with credit card. And to say sika me save any like to say me life insurance, cry me kobo obesia wo me di tuatua me who bills ni be like it was a whole lot of things happening. To say like sometimes it's very unfortunate say our for to say we cannot coexist or like support each other when one is going through difficult times, but it also play into how you talk to your partner, how you treat your partner when you are in a good place, you making all the money, because most of us, we don't think about tomorrow or what's going to happen down the line. K has lost his job before. I have to deal with the bills, everything, and then vice versa, but like for some reason my bills has always been greater than his, because I have some extra stuff on the side, buying car, doing this, like, because baby, I make first, baby, and I'm here, too much. It takes me 2 hours to get to work. No, it was too much. Driving, no, it takes me 20 minutes to half an hour. That's an hour and a half. And like, maybe some of the decisions I made were premature that put me in debt. But thankfully, I'm able to like pay all the money. You say, I can, I'm not in that level no more. But I'm almost done. But Mr. Lee, is patients say, were those men real men before the pandemic came and sabotage? How would a man doing well for his family be treated badly if he loses his job? Maybe some when performing well, that's likely possible, because even impairment commodity can even cause that, because when he now when Mr. Lee Patterson said, did you ask the woman if she still loves the man? Mr. Lee, if you asking about my family member, like, when the divorce was going through, at first she was refusing to sign the divorce paper because she wanted to get back with him. And we're like, oh, hell to the no, it's not happening. After calling, no, the family being a witch and all that. This is African mentality. Everything is the family being a witch. When people nipa na say they ultimately take key accountability of their own bad, poor characteristic na no they could share bushia for me and so me my bushia like we don't put pressure on nobody. I mean, it is we all have established something for ourselves. And you know, to say she stressed the divorce proceedings, like, you know, it took a while. But when the family member got the female lawyer, that female lawyer did not take no nonsense, and she made sure, and she was able to finally sign it, because she claims that she was in love with the family member, but he was done, because, you know, after second time, no, he said, I'm good. Chris Cross Mensa said she was just mainly, hey, ma, she went all the way. Oh, who couldn't keep her skirts up for long? That's true. I mean, it's like she just went all the way. Sister Love, he did not do a DNA. No, he did DNA when she got pregnant. He did DNA, and it was his baby. Yeah, he did DNA. That was the first thing when he found out that she was pregnant. That was after they reconnected, you know, after the first time, you know, and he was willing to make it work. But after the baby, one train kura, I say, and plano kura netiano. When some one worry, na bema corona. I mean, sometimes, you know, like maybe on my maybe I'm surprised. Brother Natty does say, of course, because you shop too much. Me, I don't shop too much. For no, Mimi say Vusiko. Hey, I'm one like me when it comes to managing money now. I'm the master of that. Not to say on say sometimes no yeah, I invested in some things, but to say man dream process like me spending that much money staying home. And our nephew so who did more COVID-19 by yes, sika nipa spending no including quantity no cost store, me call wholesale store. If you have 500 and over, now like I be like a dear pana me five, you don't even hardly see anything. Aduane boy thing. New York had the aduane boy thing, and I know some places in so aduane boy wholesales no prices no it be cost a dollar more, $2 more, like everything has went up. The only thing that has not gone up is a dime canon near there. Mr. Lee said this man is afraid of his shadow because this woman doesn't want him. Hey, she is Mr. Lee, no. Your words, Mr. Lee, I go skip big time. And hey, she is fucking big time. And he says he love her and forgiving. One day he will kill her if she keeps on. She should not take him for granted. One day he will trip on both herself and she the man. Well, the family member, you know, he used his emotional intelligence and got a divorce because one time was enough for him, twice was not. He wasn't going to deal with that. And you know, he made the right decision because Mr. Lee, you're right. You know, maybe if he had chosen to stay with her, you never know. Ebianka, ewu beba, ekum ebe free maba. Uncle Lee, as again, I think some were good men taking care of the home and most were not. Mr. Lee, some will be sign up as a patient. Into Sofo, who some of these awesome comments normally I think that a man and man we all experience, like, you know, I mean, abuse is abuse, domestic violence is domestic violence. A man more strength, you know, is greater, way greater than female strength. And you know, when a man is beating on a woman, it's a big deal. And I think that it's long overdue why we don't talk much about domestic violence. Um, we need to talk more about it and what are some of the ways to prevent it.
Yo, before you can ways I bet me ASC and all kind. Yen share say domestic violence no e dey how be eba any paso. Bi any say ebi ohakora na esa ne buro nti no ni padua no mesisa.
No correct.
You see you ebi oha obi tumi bo na say bia e ho ni bu ana wo pira oha a. Oho beto krampo na ensan say de na wotie natural
No correct.
Nti na ama ya ka ho asem obi ehun say so obi violence ewo efia say oye ba mo so oye oba o I say o me na ni ba na ho so say na osi kofa oba na oba ma ni free ni ma me na ni kofa free ni so sa wudi ni ebebo ye be kata nka nye sister ya aka bra nka ne ho afu anya bra ya sister nka ne nan chi ayo me nya because of you so enti oye violence obi a ese say uhun ohawa ewo hu you bought them be me bi so afei no obi okwa fa wota akwa the tie ja wawari oh na me na me tena na enkwan ya de nchi ya de ewo bi to wi asa ya de but nchi ya de bi ya me obi a obeto akoko bi ma na mawi a oh e bi la na me ka ho asem wa ha yi mine no okache na yire say before me ja wo no me di wuda man san me ja wo
ampa
awo dan ha ya
eno
di de ya ni say otumi bu maami a ebi o ha otumi bu na ama midnight na ogusu bu maami
hey
one of the family member ni sorry na okache otuma na yire ni sister ni say me ma eniama tu so ba wale ukun we ni atwa odi afi abusuam ana say obeja ukun no na mesoma hwe na mesoma aboa wo because na abroso omu fi afore ba ya na abewa ni
ko viki na ataka nyame sompa na yesumi
ibi ya ni say afore ba ta no ba ma no awaja ya ba ana oba ni nua no ko hwe ayi foforo ma na asa ayi ope edama na kra a store ana oto ni magum no de to heze obi foforo aware no ama
you see
and I opportunity for this man no kwa so wodwane fi oda because there ni say oya na yire sa wie no ko ware oba foforo say na oba foforo no say do anopa na oyi skaman so nfa no aduane a o so hwe and for the say anopa na on kan hwi o obeba nyumre na we this kind half not the half at all I didn't ka say no ana aduane no wa no a o so hwe wonu ato nka say wo ware ma ha o mpa misu ba be hawo nti skara do me de be di me die nti wo de na da ho so ba ko to do ku so ba ko ye de I don't care
wonyane de that's good
yeba we say domestic violence no etumi ama obi etumi jaha wale afi say etumi kum ye de ka ase de hwe gu nkoko se ho obi tumi hwe ase de gu obi ho ema wawu nti we violent awa ware mu a ese sade we nyina yehu se ehu hia se ye betina efie ba kwa na da edan ba gu na de bia ye kontokwa ana ye niema ebe ha ofoforo adwen esa na eyo hawo ebi oho de na nso san se ye bere nti mo ma menhwe kwa ye betumi afa so a ye bebo ho ban de di kan se se de di Kristo shaas ye no Kristo nkwa na ya asomdwe hin nti aware bia no as I say a basic and as a Jesus Christ eba be the head of the aware remember ba man nka so no nkwa na oye boss but the boss na kasa the real boss na kasa no only Jesus Christ
but so for obi ohono ma onu onji na nyame ni nti onu onji nyame ndi no how say what the nyame edi nanim kan wona worry
so ku Jesus anu apo asomdwe o yes baby Jesus ini bia no how but baby or one day how you be because before I am one no Isaiah 9 verse 6 they said he was called the Prince of Peace.
Mm.
It is a say nipa who say yen to me nkwati Jesus na enya asumdwe says here etere na wiase na UN we mu say mo pa asumdwe amuntu mi ngane say Jesus Christ has been set aside and the nipa di nyansa so pa asumdwe enya edwuma.
What's the Isaiah 9 verse what? Isaiah what? 11:6?
Isaiah 9 verse.
Oh, okay. Yes. Got it.
One of Jesus Christ, yeah, but when the title Isaiah can't answer, that Isaiah said, for unto us a child is born. Now, King Kaya, and his name shall be called Wonderful, the Counselor, the Mighty God, the Prince of Peace.
Got it.
And to Jesus Christ said, our phobia, because our Yana Casano, Unyamanakan is our Yana, until you know, new baby, our Yana fire, baby. Nti ete se obi bia de no ho ebo Jesus eno e do benya asumdwe.
Sofo answer now into that no brother Natty does the visa some Sofo is it for us to get married or being single? If so, why? So why do we marry?
Oh, to be so obey single there, it is up to you. So wow per se. Oh, obey to me show ho so dia and dey because I never akwa etere bia ye ware na say ye dika kan for companionship. Etere bia say dey si kan ko bidi ba yi. Oni partner bia. Obe partner na say o sheda nye investment bia. Won say won kwa no ho be kire. Two ye nipa enso ye nipa etobiri bia yare no mo ne ade bi wo ho a etumi kan ye hye so ahu but ebasa na so wo obi a ono so kan ho a otumi bua wa sa kwan no so ebi se onyame asam se enye se be ma nkwa betina nto bebo ne seso buafo na oni oba no ba be bua be ma no ama decision bi a opose o take ni wa take enti do awaye de enye force obetuma ye single enye bone sa na Paul so kan say so we be say single enye bone but say o make sure say o kwa ati a woti no enko hawo because we be ma you find we be ma e den e bia odi padua yi e bia da so wa onye Roman father nkwa de a da ko ni padua be dedo
Roman father fu enye omu bebre ne fa nkwala ma no America
da ko ni padua be jeje ni padua na say je na say wa nya right hold na nkwa nkoshim a obefi ho baba na odi area na aba
yensemu eti brother nothing does was say enye by force our enye by force baba single making sure say how now fa wa ade ne nkwohye baby eni kwansa wo de hye ayi sister Adwoa frame up I was saying the reason why nobody should tolerate it in terms of like she's talking about domestic violence. I mean, to say, I just don't know, but in some ways, you know, they say I many oma ekunum abromo to the brink of death. And so no, I can't say yeah boy no na why get to help no. Was sign echo to say in command near any di any kwan near fast we person e boy no was sign kokoka tre nipa na o bu na kunu no enti no e bibia o ho no ma one time krempo no to say ye hia no na nka be men nka me ho a na che se akwa na be me se nkwa ye na adwen se wo bebu me akumi rough papa na bufu e won so na enye I mean to say some abusers no they are monsters because it say omabufu ba pa na ohwe nipa nani di aya hey to say you krempo ma your friend is saying ebe krempo ma were so scary.
And Solomon Kano, Proverbs chapter 14 verse 17. Say the win cherufuno, or dear Jimism.
Wow. Bible in some way, the machine.
Proverbs 14,
Proverbs 13 or 14. Okay.
14 verse 17.
32.
14 verse 17.
Oh, verse 7. Hey, my deal. Patient, I can't send be to one of my. Hey, patient. To say, as some way say, dear, no crass a more. As a patient say, was seen, but most violent people are in the church, all because they don't understand the Christianity. So some way say, many crisscross Eddie whom come or say, sometimes some be or no ma walk. We have church goers. And you almost affiliate yourself with Christianity, but almost Christianity, nothing. Pastor Patient put it in like this is like perfect when it comes to abuse. Now, sorry ma num bebre, sorry leaders bebre, I am abusive. Omo Christo tumponi o. Omo de omo sam de ebe bibie mu cheating and everything. I mean nipa binum a omo so omo ya Christopher omo kwa sorry every Sunday and so omo for omo yire no machi so enti bonene de eye se nyankopon so oba wiase oba hya ase afri asori dem because bonni e wa asori dem no doso enti pastor mpa we say mame
say adwen na e won ko tirim bebre ni say sama anko asori e be kan say me yo bonsamba se me ko bi dia na ka dem so me ye kristoni so but kristoni no I na make say Jesus Christ kind Matthew chapter 11 verse 29 say mo hwe be na mensua me bi say medwo so the word Christianity no and I said the word Christian no you what nya abusua bi din o abusua bi din ana owura bi e de wati na abusua nti obeka ho a na ye the Christian na di wanim na ye o Christian Samuel Okoso because the family no any Christ no
okay
that family name say no matter say within the Christian Ejaya you prefer Christian Ej because the Christ you belong to Christ family na say the abusua bia no bia mpe animguase no say Jesus so mpe animguase so this abusua bi oho na obi dey say abusua ni din e dey kwaya ade bia enye ye fan say bi o dey kokoko no and our pastor din e dey something violence no be say say abusua we dey when you get married to them and when you involve yourself with them you are going to be violent. But you say the head of the family will not sit down and allow a man for say and I say if you are abusua somebody abusua ni din e be basabasa
no kremo
Jesus is one person din din be basabasa but I na nipa bi o ho a say na make yi amadwen a omodo kwa asore no aye different
no kremo
but the say who say ye kwa asore na ye koti asem a we have to put them into practice. And Matthew 7 verse 21 it say the ultimate sam na oye no but the never to obanyansafo ho insuo toy nanso antime mubuni dan no na mo de otiema sam na wanye no verse 24 na kan so see the otiema sam na wanye no on na but never to obakwasea ho
wow
so Tana Jesus kind so obi kwa asori obi sabe dem kwa asori na okotie nyame asem no na wamfa anya aduma na emum oye otherwise na Jesus said obe for kwasea because otia asem no but wamfa asem na anya aduma
na chese nye wa ya adwin ne di kan Bible na esi o kwasea
Bible na kan Matthew 7 verse 21 to 24 obi eye yon tron to obi on kan no here
Verse 21 through 24 or 21 and 24?
21 through 24.
Through 24. Okay, let me put the correction. Through 24. Brother Nati has assembly. Brother Nati does. What part of so Mary or say? I guess in contrast to the question he asked before, was say, what if you have a girlfriend and I think it is much better than marriage? To say, or no, or not doing say or call the next step because he's comfortable with baby or one. And Sofo.
I'm secure.
Oh, sound.
I'm secure. Sɛ ɔba Ghana ha na ɔkɔfa mfantini ba na sɛ woanyɛ ne ho adeɛ na asɛm so wa oti anyɛ yi a yɛfa sɛ excuse me sɛ yɛfa sɛ wawu a mɛyɛ mfantini nti no deɛ mewɔ na meka kyerɛ wo yi ɔkyena bi nti woahwɛ ne sɛ owu a wobɛkɔyɛ ne ho adeɛ yɛde no to hɔ no wobɛkɔyɛ ne ho adeɛ wobɛhyɛ ne kawa atɔ wedding gown sɛdeɛ yɛyɛ ɔbaa ho adeɛ fɛɛfɛ.
Brother Nati does the you taste. That answer your question. Pastor Patience said, like Ofoli's family, they have been violent from their generations. Oh my goodness. I mean, in terms of sometimes, you know, there are some families now. You hear stories about them. Family be one of my so family we say you come family where you come to say ubebodam. Just say there are so many things and a before to say family be one of my they make it so obvious because of the characteristic surrounding the family. I mean to say when you think there's so much abuse sometimes, and I get confused. I read of reactive abuse, right? Reactive abuse, you know, whereas to say abuser will try to convince the victim, right, that there's nothing worth of them, you know, reacting to it or overreacting to what was said or what was done to them. That is reactive abuse. So when I read it, I was like, wow. I mean, in general, when it comes to reactive and proactive, humanity, we are more reactive to things. But you have an abuser, when they abuse you now, they also trying to turn around and confuse you, say, what I did to you, there's nothing wrong with it. And you don't react. Men can't show because who can't show like why you just in here so be sad, you know, which is like
science Ghana a minimum as well there but Ghana had kwala bebre ho a but go bi etimi repu na maka tell say o ka kire obi abobodam nti be se hye akola no ho hye akola nti odu da cha odu ne mpani fie super na ofel say so ko ware a ne gun ne be say de papa ne be ye no nti say o sika no ne we ho a amoye ne ma bi ono so wa abuse but the change obesan bo hu say do you right?
No cre and almost abusive personality behavior. And no a mema abusive a mema na abusive na it doesn't stop at the home or some creative incidents and behavior obetimi abeye nneoma bi wo wadwuma mu a ye be yi wadi afre adwuma mu. They will cost you your job too. Because they want to control everything. So they will get you fired. They will come and display certain behavior at your workplace. Where Jumabeka say, you know what, this is enough. We can't have this. Even though you might be a great worker now, this type of abuses, abusive personality behavior, they will get you fired, and that is like really scary. I mean, I guess some people do go through a lot of hassle and difficulties. I mean, how do you go around it? Brother Natty does it say, I'm fancy, no abuse. Yeah, Brother Natty does it. That,
Ah.
but I'm also fancy girlfriend. It's much better. No domestic violence, no abuse. Amen to that too, because and one year we don't want any, yeah, abuse in relationship and in marriages and family home, because it shouldn't be tolerated. Sanya yes sister Adwoa Frema Pokuya Kai, we need to like start doing something about it, holding people accountable. Excuse me. Yes, Pastor Patience, reactive abuse does definitely silence you, and it shuts every nerve in you down. Oh my gosh, you put it in like a vivid like definition. That is scary. Like that is crazy. You know, to silence you, like wouldn't say a bull, not nipa no air convince so say mamu, like we saying yeah say like Pastor Patience, now it sounds even more scarier in you putting it in such words, in such manners. That's crazy. Now we talk about sick mindset people. Since I just frame up, I said people like that are sick mentally and need help. Most definitely, because we do have some victims. Some um, who who will be victimized because after they have been abused for weeks, months, years, their partner continue to get them fired. They moving from one job to another because they will come and do things to get you fired. And reactive abuse is like the most scariest part. Even though they beat you senselessly, they tell you say don't be reactive to that because it's not real. And Pastor Patience said silence you, hey, and shut every nerve in you down. That is definitely scary. Pastor Patience gave more. Reactive abuse is like you beat a child and tells the child not to cry. And the child will be shaking. I mean, like, that's a scary thought. I mean, serious matter in so many ways. Sometimes, when you think of certain words, you don't really put it in context. So it's like, and it's so important. See a Timmy there, near because it's so wrong for a man to abuse a woman, any form of abuse, or for a woman doing the same thing. But to say, you said that the dominant is mostly men, but yeah, man, being so no, it take his opportunity, especially omo di intro no, ne ho kafoɔ mo no, ɔse ne ho kafoɔ abɔ no, na obi a yɛboro no boro no mu no, wobɛhu ebeduru ɔno no so no, na system no ɛyɛ doubtful sɛ asɛm a wɔka no yɛ nokorɛ anaasɛ nyɛ nokorɛ. They being traumatized again, which is not right. Nti no sɛ if you a woman and you living in an abusive relationship now, or you are living in a domestic violent home now, you need to be able to get help. And don't let it get to that level. Like the minute it starts with the name calling, the disrespect, and like trying to be a, a, like a control freak. Yeah, because it's that, or like if your man is being insecure, you need to have conversation. Yes, you have to have difficult conversation if you need a third person inside. And so for there are, I know say you are a counselor. I know Pastor Patience is a counselor. There are some church leaders now. You guys are counselors. You teach about marriage lessons, counseling other marriage couples and even the youth coming up, you have different role. You play different roles. You encourage young women to be able to use their words and talk to their families. Don't indulge in abusive relationship, because and then I'm afar omabano to say omo trimpna, they don't hold themselves to copying some and the world is changing, and to say oba beka say one be men na san wawaria or no choice, but how many of them we have in this world? Only a small percentage. Into no be or no man pratry any mu crampo ni a Bruno, but to say or pebema no or dono or don't now or my kuno. I mean, I don't think that should be tolerated in any form or shape. It should not be. And women needs to speak up. Men who are being abused, they need to speak up. I mean, I have watched one of the people nipa baako a me ne ne yɛ adwuma na me boa no na yɛ bɛrima no mu na ɔbaa no na ɛboro no, nti no te sɛ ɔkɔyɛ Okoye complained, to say like the first thing the police officer no in the kasayan or catch no. I mean, even questions I know Busano no. It was like he was laughing at him already. And I don't think that it's fair for men to be made fun of when a woman is beating them up, because we do have some women they are really strong and they can kill the man, so I think that abuse should not be taken lightly coming from either gender, because we are humans, we experience pain. So it shouldn't have to, like, we can't do the gender thing when it comes to abuse. Abuse is abuse and it needs to be treated equally. Or baby or sometimes they just chooses not to fight back because what in come by now or no back with them. So ain't the money be taking full advantage of that.
Because domestic away na mo share ni there. Na akwa say Adwoa man kwa but emwa mema. Because they be say a battle be man e get abuser. Ye onya conversation, onya hwe. But about mo kwa say ape. There are so many things here be man no. Because say ye ni say fa ne kwa ha fa ne si a. Na okay. Police ni no obaka just say kwa hu opa. I didn't know turn no ba abo. But it did happen. No, it's sit down there. But as I said, Berman or Pharisee, or Beya Inti, Mary Broha, Ebia, or Haramuso, Mekume, Ekumua. Yen as you. But Ebia had the open about Pharisee or Barry Portua, one thing say, Ebia, Nadian Bono. That could be honest, or shall I say, never body 3 months. We want us okay, the correct amount for best media. And I didn't tell me I'm follow into me. I'm in some. Let me get it. We are. Let me see one sign.
My gosh.
You said you can. You a dream one juma. I said, sorry. Any traditional leaders in here because and ya trying any say baby you book one side say we when there's some hunaman we when there's some bra time the other part no ebe be against the other part na ebe your how
no correct
sorry no any tradition ni na said yes say I say your ma ye ni ba your ho so na obi biara obeka na asama che we have to pay attention proper attention to bakwa na asama na oka no any kwa say ye de nema yesere ye nema yesere ye be your ho so na obi ekun obi but say you pay proper attention to onipa na asama na oka being obema na so oba me ji say ebeboa ama no
correct. So for Sanya Emre Akodru no, say ye beba be to say a nyoma ye betimi aye to prevent domestic violence in marital home, our family homes, nominate are they, and also like ways and means that we will women and victims will stop tolerating with such behavior. Like, if you in such situation, steps that you can take to save your life, prevent any fatality happening, and how the family members can support you from that. And yeah, sorry, penny for so no, and no ma like to stop enabling this type of abusive behavior by trying to like sweep it underneath the carpet and stuff like that. So I think said today we touch so much areas along with the phone so almost productive contribution. And also why brother nothing does it says some women like to be abused, and if you advise them they think that you are destroying their marriage. That's their how their understanding and emotional intelligence lie. But I wouldn't condone in any abuse, and I'm speaking to the ones who wants support and who will stop this enablement from happening to them and triggering into their children. Those who are like above that, almost feel say omo can for abuse omo pɛ no ɛno yɛ ɔmo masɛm ame no. I see that as dysfunctionalness, because idea ebe hurting another person, it's not normal. It's unhealthy. So those people, I'm not trying to connect with those people. Hey, brother Nati, does you hate is a strong word though. Word though. You hate counseling, and you're not just you have a lot of things to say that you don't want to say. I tell to tell me you can't have sex until you get married. There are some women, they will hold themselves to that. Inti no wo be man untimi abrada nati dazi no apɛ wo be afa. Why? You need
so omubu kwasia me we bre ho a de kona enam so a ode ebe ware won sex no. And so when you said yeah, I didn't think I saw some. And that is why a man will be they don't want to allow a man not someone job. If you say man will be I didn't wait and make it because I keep on saying that men will be they can spend so much our man who one day grandness on the what on you say what's in it.
Hey, Sofo, next weekend, hey, Pastor Patient, for real. Brother Nati Dazi, like that is another concern. Sending us off for to say you have some men they would rather die because it's too embarrassing for them to come out to talk about being abused. I mean, that is so sad, to get to settle for that, and we will talk more of that next week. I think I'm going to have to make note of it for next week, because I want to make sure that we pick up from where we left off, and then we can go with that. And then also what Pastor Patient said, I didn't mean to. She said Adwoa, gaslighting abuse is also very dangerous, most definitely. They question their own judgment and makes them deny themselves and be in denial. And this is something that we need to like also exploit in there. So Pastor Patient, thank you so much for putting that up. We're going to conclude today of domestic violence. Next week we're going to bring part 2, and in part 2 we're going to talk about what Brother Nati said about the embarrassment of a man, feeling so embarrassed they rather take their life or their partner's life before that comes out, and then gaslighting also. And then we also will talk about the misconception about domestic violence, also hidden side of domestic violence. We're going to talk about a lot of things, how to prevent those from happening. If you are in a situation like that, what are some of the steps that you can take to protect yourself, your life, and find the help that you need. There are a lot of, like, resources. I At least I know abroad, there are a lot of resources, but also before we go into that, there are extra precautions that needs to be taken to protect your life, for you not to lose your life from doing the right thing. So we want to thank each and every one of you that partake this discussion. And when you guys come next week, when you guys are able to join us next week, please feel free to ask questions. As I said, if we have the answer to the questions, we will respond. If we do not, we will get back to you, because I tend to read a lot of comments, because that's how I learn from other people also. Like, information I have, I will share. I also would like to, like, learn from you guys, because there are some things that you guys who have more knowledge of that I may not have. So it's good to learn from each other, because we will be talking about a lot of this. It's going to be so overwhelming that some people are going to talk about, hey, who, yeah, no, yeah, this is
Mhm.
something now we're going to go all the way, because it's ekunkumfonom ne nsɛmfo tantan a esisi wɔ awarefoɔ bi mu no, yɛ mmarima no bi feel say ɔmo no, they have the power to do whatever, to say yɛ mmaa no bi nso feel say they have the power to lie and do certain things and put the men in trouble, because onim sɛ sɛ wɔka saa word na ebe put in trouble. Now we shouldn't be tolerating with that. A man wɔ strength and a man wɔ strength, and man wɔ weakness and a man is wɔ weakness. So we need to tackle all around. And thank you guys so very much. God richly bless each and every one of you. Pastor Patience, Mr. Lee, Sister Adwoa Frema, Sister Ya Atobra, Sister Nana, yeah, a child, brother Natty does it, brother Natty does it, your husband, he goes all the way. Brother Wilson, and then we'll buy and near Shasi and chair, but then the one make a comment to cry. And as I said, queer, anima also, and then we need to about so by one making a lot of contribution. Crisscross Mensa, I love the questions that you put forth, and also contributing, but normally you speak more than this, but and then the meaning the I will say quiet too much, and yeah, that obia se more contributing now. So so thank you for all the scriptures. Excuse me, I'm
Mhm.
definitely going to go back and read through the scriptures. Media me tree no minimum kind to me can me bro for all kind me here, but to say going back to reread it now, me can say me can't read any nka. Best I feeling actually na monte me nka. So that's it. Mo a mo share program no, mo like a program no, mo love a program no, mo use other emojis no, so no, edamase. Cementi, sema mo wudin a normally app na me use no. Say bia if I'm not watching myself now, ubaswa me me say within no, if I don't do that now, the pacho facha me it's not intentional. Nye buapae meet niaba Sister Haga Kunedu. Thank you for joining. Sister Comfort bonso ɔbaa tuntum ahoɔfɛdua nso saa meda ase paa. Nti sɛ maama wo din a, again fakyɛ me, forgive me if I don't mention your name, because some of the names which already popped up no ɛno na meyɛ yi. Ma Omega Queen, wo din deɛ ɛsɛw, ne wo nimdeɛ a wowɔ nti no meda obiara sɛ Nyame nhyira mo nyinaa for more more lovely productive contribution. And then Brother Mike Meek and so me that I say Nti no nyame yɛ adom a yɛbɛhu next week. Yɛbɛhyia next week Saturday. Nyame yɛ adom a yɛbɛba abɛyɛ domestic violence in part 2, and then we're going to be talking about the misconception and gaslighting. To say the embarrassment of a man being abused and feeling shameful to disclose that, but they would rather take their life, or before they do that, they will take the life of the abuser and all that. So we're gonna talk about all that all around. We need to make sure we're doing our social distancing, maintaining good hygiene, washing our hands thoroughly, and wearing our mask to protect ourselves from this pandemic. Inti so from pacho umpaibo faye close nega.
Yɛbɔ mpaeɛ yɛn Nyankopɔn ne aban kɛseɛ yɛda wo ase
Amen.
yɛhyɛ dwumadeɛ so na wode yɛhyɛ aseɛ awurade abɛdu mpɛmpɛn nso onyame yɛka sɛ nhyira nka w'adin daa
Amen.
yɛgyae awareɛ ne awurade baabi a gidigidiyɛ ne basabasayɛ nyinaa hyɛ wo nsɛm sɛ yɛahyɛ dwumadeɛ yɛ ase yi wobɛfa dwumadeɛ nso ama efie biara a basabasayɛ wɔ mu no onyame woagyina yɛ mpaebɔ yi so de apamo basabasayɛ na wo yesu kristo woatena ase yɛgyae nnuanom ne adɔfonom a wɔhwɛ yɛn wɔboa nhyɛ wo nsɛm sɛ na wohwɛ yɛ tim yi wɛma wɔ dwuma wɔyɛ nyinaa wie pɛpɛɛpɛyɛ na de ahyɛ wo din kɛseɛ no anuonyam yɛsan kɔ so bɔ mpaeɛ de wiase ne nafa no nyinaa hyɛ wo nsɛm yare a bɛsensen wie mu nkwa na ɔyaresafo onyame san yareɛ ma yɛnhyɛ wo wɔ de onuam na wotwe mu yɛde nipadua ne yɛ kra yɛde firi ne afiba nyinaa hyɛ wo nsɛm sɛ kora yɛ nyinaa so na bɔ yɛ nyinaa yɛ ho ban na wotwe kɔ akorɔ bɛso yɛne a yɛhyɛ wo din anuonyam yɛbisa wei wɔ yesu kristo din mu wadom nti amen.
Amen. Sofo, that's a pan. Yami shroud. Any woman will say, at the banner would be in church because Sister Alethea Darling to be that's the pastor to me in. And to know ye do be as in Yami Shramo. I am my share program no am I in. Why? Yeah, that must say. Everybody have a blessed, safe week. See a beshasye weekend into the week. And it's for Rebecca sir. So you know what? Don't hang up. Don't go. We can just talk in the back. The back. Bye guys. Take care of yourselves.